Was there just the emergency?
Everybody's asking about you. Nobody knows where you are. You've ghosted all of your friends and nobody knows why. And you've gotten skinny too, and that pisses me off. You got to put some weight on you.
I had like an entire apple pie on stream the other day just for you.
I didn't get to see it. Do you have another one?
I have most of one. Should I go get it?
Yeah, go get it. Go get an apple pie.
I'll eat fucking pie right now.
Will you?
Yeah, of course.
I'd be delighted to see that.
So we're going to pretend that fraud doesn't. People get charged with fraud in every election. So we're going to pretend it doesn't happen. And we're going to pretend that it was not enough without having any basis for it.
All right, let's put that glass down. Put the glass down.
Well, we got to put more whiskey in it. Pie. I just noticed.
Pie in your mouth. That's what we're looking for now.
Let me
no
get
whiskey.
this pie. Wait. Whiskey and pie. Can't it be both, Ethan?
That's how to do it right there. Yeah.
Wait.
Love it. Oh, look at that. An Oreo cookie, too. This is how it gets done right here, guys.
I need a non-alcoholic.
Okay. Fair enough.
And then you need to come on every show and regulate my whiskey intake and just exchange it for pie.
Okay, how are you guys doing? So we have Elliot here, and he's going to come and talk to us about his comic Ominous. How are you doing, Elliot? It's great to see you.
What's going on, man? Thank you very much for hosting me.
I'm doing great. It sounds like there might be an issue with your mic. Here, let me see.
Hold up. Hello, can you hear me now? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Okay, you can hear me. Okay, here, just a sec.
Can you hear me?
Could you try plugging it in and unplugging it?
Hello? 1 second.
Okay, no problem.
Hello? Huh. Hello? 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 Can you hear me?
No, I can't hear you. Sorry.
Strange.
Yeah. Here, try again.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Okay, I guess people can hear you on their end. Okay.
I think I had it on mute.
Well, I'm going to open you up on YouTube then. I guess it must be an issue with StreamYard.
No, I think I have my mic on mute.
All right.
What's going on, everyone in the chat? How you guys doing?
Cool. Well, thanks for coming on, Elliot. I really enjoyed reading your comic, Ominous. And I was wondering, I was wondering if you could talk about, your book and kind of give a bit of a pitch.
Yeah, definitely. Just give me a second here. Yeesh. 1 second. If I can share some images with you. Let's see. Let's try this one. Just give me a second. I'm trying to find the right one.
Absolutely.
All right. So basically, my story is it's called Ominous. It's the story of this character. Hopefully, I don't know if it's going to pop up on screen, but his name is Zadok. He's the main character. He's a teenager, 18 roughly. Actually 18. And here's the design for Zadok. And the idea of the story is that he's out running an errand, and as he's doing his chores and errands and stuff, something happens that drags him into this story that's much grander in scale. And what was for him just like an everyday event turns into a great adventure, a big adventure where he has to learn a lot about responsibilities and hard work, determination, sacrifice, all the things that make a hero a hero. So he embarks on this journey. He's the reluctant hero. He doesn't want to participate in this, but he feels like, he's in a situation where he has no other choice, and so he embarks on the journey, and then he matures as a person, and it's a transition story. He's one thing at the beginning of the story, and then by the end, he's completely he's different. He's much different. And I liken this situation to Luke Skywalker in the original trilogy. When we first see Luke in that first movie, he's got the white robes. He's a farmer boy. He's a farmer and he's a boy, and we see him very inexperienced. But then by the end of the third movie, he's a Jedi master. He knows how to manipulate, how to use his powers, and then how he uses them to defeat the enemy. So that's similar to what's going to happen to Zadok in the story. And I have a cast of supporting characters that I'm slowly introducing to the story. I think this. Hold on. Yeah, here's a pinup that I did promoting this book, Ominous, and then the side character that we have here is Silas. He's the character that you see wielding the big yellow blade, big yellow sword, and he's a royal guard in the kingdom that they live in, and they cross paths, and they both get put into a position where they have to save their kingdom, and it's like a buddy cop story type almost a little bit, because they both embark on this journey and they tackle the problem from beginning to end, and so. He also goes through an arc where you see him change a lot from where the story starts to where it ends, and they battle. It's a fantasy story. They battle monsters of all sorts, just crazy things that come to my imagination. This is fan art. One second, if I can. Here's another picture, concept art that I did for Silas, and we can see him here. Wielding his sword, and
wow.
Thank you. And so here's another. This is a pinup.
So is that the same sword that Zadok wields later on? Yeah,
that's the same one. And that's actually this is actually Silas's sword, and it's issued by the kingdom. So it's and he gets to modify it as he likes. But this is a pinup that I did of Silas a while back, and so he's in the journey. These are some pages, but I wanted to show off also. This is the main villain. His name is Necronox, and he's the bad guy of this whole story. And yeah, he has his henchmen, one of which is this big guy here, and his name is Deathmonger. And the villain sends this big monster out to just destroy stuff, and then Zadok and Silas eventually cross paths with him, though. But that's something that's going to happen in the second book. This is not something that I had planned so early on. But yeah, when I designed the character and when I revealed the character art, I got such great feedback from it that I decided to try to do something with the character, because I felt that it would be like a big tease if I had this character that people like so much, and if I didn't use him in some form early on. So I decided. During one of my live streams, I had a guest come on, mention an anthology story, and he mentioned anthology stories are good ways to introduce characters and concepts, and he mentioned that he was going to use some of those anthologies to introduce some new characters, and he suggested to me that I should probably consider doing the same, and I did. I took him up on that, and I was like, you know what, I think I am going to do that, and I created a short 10-page story where we see this character facing off against my main character Zadok, And the story that you read, the story that you saw, has nothing to do with the actual story of the comic. It's just something like a side adventure, side thing that I did, that I thought would be cool to see people.
Oh,
Number
really?
one, yeah, it's got nothing to do with the story. Like the story has nothing. It's got the characters in it, but the events, the sequences, the events, the things that you saw in that story are not canon. They're not part of the actual story that I'm writing for the characters. So it's just me having fun with these two characters in my imagination. What would they be doing? Like, man, let's just go at it. Let's just fight. And
Can I ask you
Yeah.
could I ask you a question about how you created this character? Like, how did it come to your mind? I really like, by the way, the protruding bone spikes coming from his shoulders, from his face. There's just a lot of detail here, and it's just a very scary character.
Sweet. I dig that. This character I've had for years. I had this design for a long, long time. Oh man, I can't find. Oh yeah, here it is. And this is actually one of my original. This is a drawing that I did in 2019 of the character. I don't know if you can take a look at that. I'll stop sharing. But if people if you guys can see that.
Yeah, I can see. That's very good.
And this is the character.
So he's fighting like a dog or something.
And there's stuff here. It's a bad piece of art. I critique it in one of my videos, but yeah, this is a character. I've had this design for a long time, and I really like this the circle eyes and stuff, and yeah. So when I entered the indie scene, I saw all these amazing things happening, and then it came to me. Well, I came to the realization that making a comic is something that I could actually do. Back in my day, when I was younger, making comics was just some fantasy idea that would never manifest. Like, because I remember back in my day, I grew up with comics back in the 90s, just in case anybody's curious. And so back in those days, like, we all had these ideas we would draw. For those that could draw, we would draw these characters and just create these fantasies and these ideas and these designs. And I created a bunch of characters, and it's just things that just stayed there, never took hold of anything and never became anything serious. But then when I came across the indie scene, when I came across Comicsgate and I saw all the wonderful things that they were doing, I was like, you know what? I think I could actually do this. Like, I think I could actually like get these characters together, put a story together, design some stuff, and make it work. And so I did this sketch. In my opinion, my art wasn't up to par back then, so I worked on my art and I redesigned my characters. I took a look at all my old sketches and I saw, like, I picked out what elements worked, what elements I liked, what elements I thought that would be great for me to draw. Because also, like, I want to have fun drawing this. I don't want to feel like I'm drawing something that I don't like. So I made sure that each character that I designed is something that I want to like look forward to drawing. So I designed what I thought was cool, and I put it out, and people have been incredibly receptive to it, especially Deathmarker. This guy's a hit. Everybody likes this guy, and I like his design, and so yeah, it's just things that I've had from way back that I rehashed and updated for new comic purposes.
So in fantasy, there's kind of like two types of villains that you commonly see. So one is kind of a brute. So if you look at, for example, at Beowulf, the first villain he fights is Grendel, who's very physically capable, but not very intelligent. And then you see, like, in the end, he fights the dragon and then Grendel's mom, who are a little more intelligent, but maybe not quite as physically powerful. And so it's just kind of interesting here to see, you doing that with your different villains.
Yeah.
One of the things I really enjoyed about your story is, sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I was just looking at the comments. Yeah. Oh, with Cyber Dragon, what's going on? Thank you very much. And yeah, I appreciate the comment that he liked the super cool design of the character.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Awesome. I was going to say that one of the things that I really like is you seem to kind of tap into the archetypes, pretty well. Like, reading your book, it really reminded me of the story of King David versus Goliath a little bit.
Yeah.
So it was just a really good read, and it kind of reminds you of what fantasy is supposed to be.
Oh, thanks, man. That means a lot. That means so much. I appreciate that. And I mean,
I was wondering, how did you get into the indie scene, or what was kind of, how did you find Comicsgate? Is that your bridge to the indie scene?
Yeah, everything happened because of the pandemic. To be honest with you, in my case, because I got back into drawing in 2019, we can say, because it was December of 2018, but practically 2019, and at that time I started to learn how to ink, and because I had never inked before my own pieces, everything that I had drawn up until then was just pencils, and so I messed around with inks, and then as you can see, like my inking back then was really crappy, but I improved over time, and so like I just posted my art on Instagram, posted my art on Twitter, and then just started meeting people here and there. And I came across Comicsgate, and the number one thing that attracted me to CG back then, because the landscape back with Comicsgate back then was a whole lot different than what it is now. It's a whole lot different, not good or bad, but just different in general. And what really attracted me was the absence of leftist ideology in comics, and that was what really attracted me to CG. And just taking it back to the 90s, because I read comics in the 90s. I stopped in the 2004, 5-ish. The last big story event that I read was Civil War, and then after that I stopped, and then I came back, and when I looked at the new comics, I was like, what the heck is this crap? Like this Asian Hulk, this I think there was like a gay Wolverine at one point, and just a bunch of different things. Not that I have any qualms with any of that stuff, but I just didn't like how they were changing characters for the sake of changing characters. Like there was no need to change some of these characters the way they did. And like, for example, the Hail Hydra thing from Captain America, just nonsense. Just for it's like making nonsense for the sake of like clickbaiting. And it's like, I didn't like it. I thought it was a really crappy way of writing, and it's not what I remembered back in the day. Like back in the day, they really played with your imagination. They really just took it to extremes. Extreme Studios, Image back then, like it's just really like messed with your mind. Just the way with like what they drew, like the elements that they created, the story things. So I wanted to tap into that, because I thought that's what got me into comics. It was like that cool aspect of it, and so yeah, CG was great. Like I met a bunch of great people. We all had the same similar taste in comics, similar taste, similar motivations of trying to network with other creators, and yeah, it really stuck with me. Yeah. Sorry.
So you mentioned kind of like the absence of leftism and that kind of stuff, and you're from Peru, correct?
Yes.
So do you like Fujimori? I don't know much about Peruvian politics, but
yeah, definitely, yeah. He's a very controversial figure here, because some people think that he did wrong in Peru. Some people think that he did good. It depends from what angle you look at it. But I mean, I think just in general, I think it was a good thing. I mean, for example, you can liken it to that argument about colonization. Like people like Christopher Columbus, people don't like him. They think that he's enslaved a group of people. But at the end of the day, like, I mean, if it wasn't for those things that happened, we wouldn't be here. Like, society would be completely different. And I actually like doing this, so I have no problems with that. And Fujimori, for example, he put into practice a lot of policies and things that made that modernized Peru in a great sense. And I mean, it's not perfect. It wasn't perfect what he did, but I mean, it's better than what would have happened if he hadn't done anything, I think.
Yeah, and there were a lot of issues with like the Shining Path as well and things like that.
Yes.
So
yes, definitely.
I was kind of curious. Here I have a picture of a page from a comic that came out not too long ago. And I was
Yeah.
wondering if you could kind of give a bit of a critique on it and let me know, what you like about the page. Maybe we could look out the layout first. You could kind of tell me what you think of the layout. Then you could kind of tell me about any problems here, and then what you like, and then also kind of tell me what you think about the dialogue here in this panel.
No, yeah, actually saw this. I think you had tweeted it also. I think some other people had commented on it about the bad use of Spanish here because it's horrible. The word, I think, I'm sorry if you can zoom in. I don't know exactly what it says here. Something about el Dios femenino, something like that. That's just completely bad Spanish for anybody wondering in the chat. It's just, it's not the way.
So she says, yeah,
that's not the way that's not how we speak. We don't say that. The word, if you want to you make a feminine version of the word God, it would be goddess, which is diosa in Spanish, and that's not what they do here. I have no idea what.
It would be
I don't know who his translator is, but he needs to hire somebody else because that's bad. That's really bad. Really bad.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool to see though that Yaira is canonically trans. So that's a pretty fascinating development.
That's funny. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny how that played out. Yeah.
So I was wondering if you could tell me what you think about the layout real quick here. Does it seem pretty good to you? Not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, I see a pretty good balance with text and art. The thing that pops out from how far I see it, from where I'm at, is the blues at the top and the bottom. I'm not a big fan of the art. I think that other angles could be used. But I mean, in terms of art, it's really difficult to critique art from my personal experience because art is incredibly subjective. So for example, like this piece, I consider this piece crap, but there could be somebody out there that says this is the best thing ever. And so it's really difficult because then to say that, it's really difficult to objectively say that's crap unless we're looking at something specific. Like here, for example, I'm not a fan of the rendering on the faces. I think the rendering could have been done in a different way. What else? Yeah, just the figure work, gestures. Some of the characters all look stiff, in my opinion. I think gesture work would help out a lot. Rendering of the face, and I think camera angles would help out also with just giving more of a visual impact because
I definitely see the stiffness.
This is kind of. Yeah, this is the kind of page where it's like talking heads, and so for that, there's specific things that you can do to make the page more dynamic. Like for example, with the Yaira the third panel with just Yaira's head, you can do like a silhouette in some of these images, and then just work with the contrast to take away some attention from the blues that are there. And there's many different things that you could mess around with. But all in all, I think this is a very bland page. I wouldn't do a page like this.
That's That's very interesting to hear. I appreciate you taking the time, to look at that. So,
yeah, no problem.
I was wondering if I could actually play. I made a bit of a review for your comic, and I want to play it in a bit, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, I was actually considering, or I was actually going to ask you if I could take a look at that, break down the review, because there's some things that I thought were really cool that you mentioned. But yeah, go ahead. I would love to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, no problem. Just a second. Sorry, I'm like a boomer, honestly. This is my first time doing a live stream, so thank you for coming on with me. I really appreciate it.
Sweet, no problem. Yeah, we're all boomers. I came on with the mic muted.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, there it is.
Went on an expedition deep within the sweltering jungles of northeastern Peru.
traversing rivers, narrowly avoiding capture by the communist guerrillas we call the Shining Path, until finally I arrived at an ancient Incan temple, where I discovered a treasure that had been protected by a secret line of Incan priests, lest it fall in the hands of the Spanish. But unfortunately for them, Peru's greatest kept secret and treasure is now in my hands. And it can be in yours as well.
Sweet.
About the comic Ominous, written and drawn by Elliot Rodriguez. I was blown away by his character designs. Look at the amount of detail he put into the behemoth of this villain. The protagonist is also pretty cool. He's got a great hairstyle, I like the emerald cape, and also his sword. Obviously it's not realistic, but it's very unique, and that's important with character design, to create something that's recognizable. He did a really good job with the fight scenes. It felt like the characters were popping off the page, and also he managed to capture their emotions very vividly. It almost felt like
JJ, I think someone in the chat can't hear the audio.
Oh, sorry. Could you repeat that?
I think someone in the chat can't hear the audio. I think when you share the video, there's also an option to share the audio
It's
also.
not
Thank you very much, Gallo Sabio.
okay. I thought I could hear it.
I can hear it,
Oh,
but I don't think
Okay,
people in the
saying
chat
to
can
get
hear
more
it.
volume. Okay.
No, there's an option that says share the audio also when
he had used sequential shots that showed a progression of movement. Some people don't like that, but I actually think it came out really well. Now I'm going to talk about the story. There's going to be a few spoilers here. So if you want to read 10 pages of explosive action, just go ahead and look for Elliot Rodriguez on Twitter and send him a DM, and he'll get you the comic right away. This is actually just a preview of the comic. He's still developing it, and he says everybody who gets a copy now via Twitter will be rewarded greatly once he actually launches the campaign. I'm not 100% sure how, but I think he will be sending you a real-life baby llama. So if you want a pet llama, it may now be yours for the small price of $5. It still might end up being something else, maybe a pinup or a trading card. I don't really know, but still, you don't want to miss out, so make sure you go ahead and look him up on Twitter. Back to the plot. The story was extremely engaging. The hero is standing over the corpse of his best friend, and the only chance of survival is defeating this giant monster. The story reminded me of David versus Goliath, and I believe it has a lot of potential. The biggest issue with the writing was the introduction of a new villain near the end, and he wasn't teed up at all, and I'm not exactly sure why he mattered in the story. He did look cool, though. I'm assuming this will be fixed in the final draft of the comic. It's not really a huge deal yet. My biggest critique of the art is going to be in panel 1, which opened up with a bird's eye shot, and you see the protagonist standing over his friend's corpse. The corpse just seemed a little too rigidish and stick figure-like for me. Overall, though, it was an amazing read, and if you've got $5 to spare, you may want to give it a go. Also, I wrote a novel called Long Live the Liar. It's about a young slave boy who watches as his king is killed, and now he must embark on a perilous journey with his master, the prince, or their whole kingdom will be destroyed. You can get it now on Amazon for $5 as well. What other great hidden indie treasures are out?
Sweet. I love it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for taking the
So
time
what-
to do that. That was awesome.
What would you say the biggest nugget was for you in there?
The biggest what?
Or the thing, maybe was there anything first, I guess, in the review that you kind of disagreed with, or was there something that you felt was, helpful?
No, yeah. Everything is helpful. All the feedback is great. No, there's nothing that I disagree with. I think everything was fair. What you said, even if it wasn't fair, I mean, it's your opinion and it's completely valid. And yeah, no, but I took a lot away from that. Because, for example, you mentioned that there's a character that appears that was not teed up. That's completely true. That is a fumble on my end, because just to make sure that I tell everybody in the chat, any future backers, any future supporters of this first 10 pages was all me. Like I did the writing, I did the art, I did everything. The only thing that I didn't do was the lettering and the coloring, but everything else is me. So I am not EVS. I don't have 30 years of making comics under my belt, so I'm incredibly new at this. I've been drawing for a long time, since I was 8, but I haven't been working with sequential art that long. So there's a lot that I have to that I'm learning also. So yeah, I decided to get in and do it and draw it and see what came out, and yeah. So for example, you mentioned that I didn't tee up that character. That's completely true. I had an idea in my mind of what was happening. And you're not the only person to say this, but there's other people also to say that that guy came out of nowhere. And so it shouldn't have been like that. There's something that I did wrong on my end. And so to correct that for the main book, I'm going to I'm hire I don't know if hiring would be the best word, but I'm getting an editor for the book. So there's going to be an editor. There's an editor already attached to it, and the editor is going to help me make sure that those kinds of things are not evident, are not super obvious in the story. So I'm going to fix that. That is a fumble, and so that's something that I plan on fixing. And yeah, and the art, for example, the art could always be improved. This art I did, what is it, 2 years ago? So there's going to be some level of improvement also as I'm doing the pages, which I hope to start soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, though, I'd say that the art was actually very, very well done and very captivating. I think
Awesome.
that the thing that you do really well, Elliot, is character design. And when you look at
Sweet.
like Ethan Van Sciver's early work, like with Cyberfrog from the 90s, you
Yeah.
can see that he was really good at character design as well. And I would say that like Cyberfrog from the 90s was a little shallow. There wasn't a whole lot to him. But he still had like, a great personality and a good like physical design. And so you have right now, the solid skeleton needed, where I could actually see these characters, one day becoming potentially, if you're lucky enough, like a household name, that would be super
Sweet,
awesome.
yeah.
I
That
think
would be
you have the
awesome.
framework where that could happen. I'm not saying it will, but if one day, you're sitting on a beach somewhere, with a mansion, I wouldn't be super shocked,
Oh,
but
thank you. That means a lot.
and hopefully lots of people will be able to know these characters.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much for the kind words.
So, what would you say people were most excited about when they read your book? Was it also the character design? Was that a constant, thing you were hearing from people?
Yeah, the thing that I actually for the people, if anyone's interested in getting the comic, when I send out the comic, I also send with it a survey, and I ask for people's feedback, honest feedback. It's an anonymous survey. I won't know your name or anything. I don't know who it would be, but I read the feedback, and yeah, some of the things that repeat are. People like the action scenes. They think that the action in the story was great. It was well done. Like you could follow what's happening from panel to panel and know what is happening in the fight. That was my biggest concern. So I'm glad that I did that right because that's also one of my pet peeves with comics. Some of the indie comics that I've read because there's been comics that I've gotten where like one thing happens in one panel. Then 2 panels later, something else happens, and then you don't know how it happened, or in what moment that punch was thrown, or things like that. And so, that's something that I don't like. And so when I went to do my comic, I was like, I'm going to make sure that, or I'm going to try at least to make sure that this all flows from the first panel to the last. And I was really happy when I saw that many people were able to follow it without much trouble. And so that was one thing. And yeah, the character design was also mentioned. People really like Deathmonger. Some people liked my main character. Some people think that the design is too bland. And I don't worry too much about that because I know from my end that he's going to go through a transition. You're not going to see him with the emerald green cape the entire story. Now you're going to see him change clothes, change armor, change a lot of things. And so that's something that was some of the feedback that was more recurring.
I spoke with somebody and they were saying I liked Zadek's physical design personally, just because of his hair, and then I thought like the cape was interesting and the sword was also pretty cool. But that person was saying that they felt like Zadek was a little bland. But the thing is when you look at Luke Skywalker, he's actually kind of a bland character in a way, and the reason why people like him is because it's sort of relatable. And I think Peter Parker also is kind of a similar thing. So it'll kind of vary on person to person, but I think it also depends on the type of, story that you're trying to tell. But yeah, I will say Deathmonger is very exceptional.
Sweet. Sweet. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I have other characters also that I'm designing that because this is a fantasy story, and one thing that that I in particular want to do is introduce the reader to a fantasy story and then have them, for example, be like on page 40 something and then not know that they're in a fantasy. Like I want to introduce to them things that are apparently real and then later morph into something a little bit more dramatic, because I've gotten that feedback also, not from the comic, but just from doing fantasy in general, that info dumps um, or presenting the reader with a lot of information can sometimes turn them off from the story or bore them. So I don't want that to happen. There is a lot of story that I want to give them, but I want to take that show and don't tell approach. So I want to like take them through this story and discover things along the way. That's the approach that I'm taking, and so I don't want to get too extreme up front. Like I want to like introduce something a little bit more simple.
Yeah.
And then as we progress through the story, just make it go beyond. And then by the time it's done, it's going to be really fantasy-esque. Yeah.
Right. It's really interesting because your method of trying to let the reader sort of discover things also seems to be kind of the method you're writing, because you're kind of using from what I talked to you earlier, you mentioned you're using, the Marvel method, which is sort of just, drawing bit by bit. And in that way, like the writer is almost kind of discovering things, as they happen. Yeah. And so it's really interesting. I think that type of the way you're writing it is going to work well with the story that you're telling.
Yeah. Actually, in terms of writing, I have a script. I was recommended by the editor to do the full story, so I know what happens from beginning to end. And so that story is finished. And what I'm doing now is going back through what I would like to be book one, and then looking at everything and then plotting everything out. I am going to. So it's like it's a very scripted type situation, but I am going to be a little bit more free with more Marvel method with the dialogue and the writing, with some of the caption balloons and stuff like that. But because I do know what is going to happen, I just want to have some kind of outline to it before I start, because that to me just helps me out a lot. And yes, I don't because I also like I don't want to also like draw something and then like 4 pages later you'll be like, wait, he didn't have a mask. Wait, how did that mask change? Or like things like that. I don't want those kind of things popping up. Like I want there to be consistency, which is why I started with concept art. Like I want to make sure that the characters look the same every time I draw them, and so I want to maintain that as best as I can.
Yeah. So I think that's really cool that you're doing that, and it's going to be really important, to have a comprehensible story, and also that you don't tie yourself into a corner, that you don't paint yourself in a corner. But anyway, I wanted to show you something because I'm kind of working on a docu-series about a lot of the stuff happening with, ISOM and the conflict with Ethan and stuff. I was going back and watching kind of the live stream after Yellow Flash, blocked Ethan, and then he nuked the Comicsgate room. And I noticed something which I thought, might be kind of interesting to you, that I didn't notice beforehand. And I was wondering if I could, play that little bit real quick.
Yeah, no problem.
Your tweets that you tweet are only going to be seen by people who belong to that Comicsgate community. Well, that Comicsgate community was originally started by Yellow Flash a couple years ago, and it had hundreds of members. And there are people in there at the Comicsgate community who are like talking to each other, making friends. When people want to come in here and be a part of Comicsgate, they say, how do I do it? And I say, well, the way that you do it is you have to kind of be a part of Comicsgate. You join in with the sort of social environment of Comicsgate. You ask people to retweet you and things like this. It's important that you do that. And the easiest way to do that is to join the Twitter Comicsgate community. Well, since Yellow Flash started it, Yellow Flash tore it down. He didn't hand it off to someone else. He just fucking destroyed it. And all of the tweets that were in there, all of the messages, all of the links that people had worked on, all of the stuff that was in there, all gone now. He tore it all down. So we got some folks. Wait, what happened to the other CG community? They just had to build a new one. Did it get nuked by someone? This is all I know.
Yeah, so I just thought that was kind of funny looking back. I was like, hey, that's Elliot. But yeah, how did you feel like when that happened, when Yellow Flash nuked the the Comicsgate community?
Yeah, that was
kind of shocking
strange.
for you?
Like the first thing I thought was like, man, somebody got to us. Like I thought somebody like on the other side was like reported the community or something like that. I thought something along those lines, and so I was asking, like, what happened to the community tab? And then I later found out it was Yellow Flash, and I was like, oh man, that sucks. That was really bizarre because up until then, like you wouldn't have thought at all that Yellow Flash or anyone actually up there would do something like that, especially since he created the community tab. I have no idea why do that. Why make that decision? Because it could have easily also just passed off the responsibilities to someone else to handle the community tab. He didn't have to do that, but he chose to, and so here we are. But since then, there have been General Piggy has created a new one. He's added a bunch of new admins to the community tab, and so everybody in the chat who's interested, check it out.
Did you get any commissions from that community?
No, actually, no. We usually just use that to promote live streams, promote campaigns, just keep people informed of what's going on in CG. Just keep them up to date, like which comic is currently funding, closeout streams, launch streams, things like that, and also people that are new to CG. They jump in there and then they want to know, where can I go to get an artist? Where can I go to get a colorist? How do I go about doing this? And there's that's the beautiful thing about CG, is that there's someone from anywhere that could help you out with any question you have about making comics. And I'm a living proof of that, because I've made a comic and I had no idea what the heck to do. I had no idea about prepping things for print. Promoting and all kinds of things, and it's just things that I learned along the way. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. So yeah, it's great. It's a great community. People can help you out.
I think they're willing to.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Are you back?
Hello.
Okay. Yeah, you're back. Yeah, I can hear you now.
And yeah, check it out. Is the Comicsgate community tab. It's on Twitter, and just join. And yeah, people comment and post all the time about anything that's happening in CG. And I post there also to let people know when I have live streams and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, thanks for letting us know about where people can get an update on that.
Yeah, definitely.
So
there's lots of channels also, if anybody's interested in backing any CG books that are currently
available for commissions right now? If people need any help with an artist, is there a way that they can kind of hit you up?
Actually, no. I'm taking myself off the commissions list for the moment, because I want to focus on the comic. Unlike many of the creators in CG that dedicate a lot of their time to making comics, I'm strictly a passion type guy that I do it in my free time. And so the few hours that I have in the day, I want to dedicate to making the comic. And so I'm not taking commissions for a long time. I'm going to work on my art. I'm working on a piece right now that I hopefully like a new pinup for Deathmonger, and so yeah, I just want to focus on making my comic, because if I don't get started with it now, I'll never get it done, and so I want to get that done as quickly as I can.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. It shows that you have a lot of passion for your project, and it's good to see that you're trying to move forward and get that done. I just wanted to ask, in case anybody needed any help.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really grateful, that you could come here and that you could, talk about the project that you were working on, and also kind of hear, your perspective on art. I was wondering, is there anything specific you want to share? Anything else, that we missed that you wanted to talk about with the comic?
No, actually, I mean, for just to hint back to what you mentioned in the review video, I am a first time creator, and you have no idea what this means to me to be able to talk about my comic and to share this and to have your support for the story. So I want to say thank you to all the supporters out there. And right now, I am not actively campaigning or doing anything to promote my comic. It's mostly just the word of mouth. Just people that know me, and so for the people that have at the moment backed the comic, I will give you a big thank you when the campaign launches. I'm not sure exactly how,
Okay.
but it could be either
Looks
original
like
art
we
or it
lost
could
Elliot
be.
again. Okay, you're back.
Hello. Yeah, I don't know where I got cut off at, but yeah, for the people that are supporting and backing now, I will thank you when the campaign launches, either with original art or discount prices or something, a pinup if I can manage it, I'll give you a book if I can manage it. But there is something that I want to give back to the people that have supported me at this stage, because right now I'm completely unknown. Just a handful of people know me, and just a few people have gotten the book, and I'm grateful for each and every one that have taken the time to read it, and especially do a review video about it. So yeah, I do want to say a big thank you to all those that have supported, and I will thank you down the line. It might be with original art, might be with original pages. I have no idea, but I'm going to do something. I'm going to think of something, because I have everyone's name. Like, I have everyone's name on the sheet, and so all the people that have gotten it at this stage, know that they're gonna be rewarded. Because and also about the book. And now that I have an editor, I'm going to go back and redo the comic, not in the art, but in the text, because there's also grammatical errors that I make. There's also a few things that I want to add, a few things that I want to change. So I want to remaster it, I guess you can say, and I'll have that available on the campaign also once I get that started. But it's not going to be for a while, because I haven't started anything on my comic yet. So hopefully I can start. This year, and if I may, July 13th, I'm also going to be auctioning off
script.
art. Yeah, in the script also, yes. And July 13th, I'm also going to be auctioning off art. I'm going to participate in the. Yeah, I'm going to participate in the Red Valkyrie. Hello, can you hear me?
So for people who are wondering, his comic called Ominous.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, you're back with us, Elliot. Sorry, you.
Now I think I lost. Hello? Hello? Can you guys hear me?
I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah,
No
this whole time we've been having some funny issues. Like, I actually can't hear you coming from StreamYard. I can actually only hear you coming from YouTube. And so if it sounds like I'm ever not a part of the conversation or a little delay, it's just because there is a bit of a delay on my end coming from YouTube.
In that case, I think you may want.
But I was
in that case,
So
I think
I
you may
also,
wanna
have an episode of my docu series, the next one about about like the stuff going on with Eric July and stuff. I am going to play that now. I'm not sure if you want to stick around for that and talk about it, or
Yeah, I'm down for that. And just to comment, I think you may want to play with the settings in StreamYard. I think if you click on settings and then you click on the audio, I think you'll be able to mess around with the settings and then hopefully fix the sound. Hello.
yeah, let me see if I can. Okay, let's see if it works now. I think
Can you
there
hear
might
me?
be like a signal issue.
Can you hear me?
Okay, no, it's yeah, I wasn't able to fix it, but I'm gonna play the next episode of the docu series, and then if you'd like to stick by and kind of weigh in and say what comes to your mind, that'd be great. But if you need to bounce, then that's fine too.
Yeah, no problem. I'll stick around. No worries.
Okay, cool. Sorry, just a sec.
No problem.
All right, here we go.
Accusations, death threats,
use deadly force,
sexual misdeeds.
mum on a regular basis.
This is a story of ISIM. No, not the International School of Ministry, but the comic by Eric July. Watch as Eric insinuates the ministry is full of fake Christians, but the satanic past of its editors is brought to light. Dick and Vito are accused of false flagging, but is someone else to blame? How does legendary comic artist Ethan Van Sciver respond? On Sifting Through the Trash, with your host, AJ Trujillo. Eric July previously struck Riley with a DMCA, saying that Riley had infringed on his trademark. Now Rippa claims he is wrongfully being sued for the same thing. His comic book, ISIM, shares the same name with the International School of Ministry. The ISIM organization had a trademark which extended to print products. This would include books, comics, magazines, and other things in that vein. They said they were worried about brand confusion. One of the biggest trademark disputes in comic book history centers around the character Shazam, who was once named Captain Marvel. Later on, Marvel also created their own Captain Marvel and registered the trademark. This was a bit of a battle, but eventually DC decided to sell the rights of the name to Marvel to avoid legal costs and also the risk of losing. Despite the fact that DC had a character created with the name that predated the trademark of Marvel, it seemed to them they would likely lose the lawsuit, and so they eventually settled with Marvel and gave them the rights to the name. Of course, a very big difference here is that only one of these is a comic book company, and the other was a Christian ministry. That being said, the ministry still owned a trademark that extended to print. Have you ever heard of the novel Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of Nim? It was later adapted into an animated film by Don Bluth. Unfortunately, at this time, the word Frisbee was trademarked by the company that invented the Frisbee. To avoid any issues, the film changed the character's name to Mrs. Brisby, and they also changed the title as well. I understand the argument that Rippa apologists are making, that these are separate industries, and that ISIM is a common name. So how could you trademark it? Considering the precedent of these older companies, and that Eric eventually settled out of court, making several capitulations, it seems he may have also come to the conclusion that a pending court case may not fall in his favor. But considering the precedent of these older companies, and that Eric eventually settled out of court, it seemed also that he maybe had some of these same conclusions, knowing that possibly a court case would not fall in his favor. That's because trademark law is really tight in America. The reason you can't publish a Tarzan or a Zorro story isn't because of copyright law, as those are all in public domain, but because they are registered trademarks. That's why Disney started using Steamboat Willie in their logo. It's a great way to maintain control of your intellectual property. Overall, this whole situation seems very ironic to me. First, Rippa sues someone for trademark violations, then gets served with his own medicine and complains about it. The ministry contacted Eric July, notifying him of a letter they received from someone named Obtuse Gnome, who was asking if the ministry was associated with Eric's comic. Rippa makes it abundantly clear to his fans he believes Dick and Vito orchestrated the whole thing, only to weasel out of that on Nick Rick.
Hello? Hello, hello. People in the chat, can you hear me? Hello? Hey, okay, Cyber Dragon, what's going on, man? Yeah, for the people in the chat, I don't know, I think we lost JJ. I'm the host of the show now. No, I can't do anything, so I was just gonna talk with you guys. But the stream stopped. No. But yeah, for the people in the chat, especially, I think Gaio, I think you were asking about this. Yeah, I'm really sorry, but the only way that you can get the comic is if you contact me on Twitter.
Sorry about all
So
the
enter
issues.
Twitter.
Okay, I appreciate that you came on, despite
Nope.
all these problems. I think I'm having issues because it's raining. So,
Okay. Yeah, that'll do it.
all right, I'm gonna rewind it a little bit.
Yeah, no problem.
Did the whole thing, only to weasel out of that on Nick Rikita's show less than a month later.
What we have right now is a textbook example of gay ops. But a fat person by the name of Vito really ramped up his public hatred of me at the launch of the Rippaverse last year. Since then, very frequently, this person has made a point to speak negatively about me and this company. Parties have shown that they have either using the state against us themselves or running op campaigns to maybe push someone else to do it for them. This whole thing was initiated due to trolling. Had they done their diligence, they would know they were relying on false reports to initiate this very conflict.
A few moments later.
Did you accuse him of starting that lawsuit
No.
prior to him tweeting that?
No.
No?
No.
You didn't say that he and Vito were behind that?
No. I wouldn't be so foolish as to do that.
Because he never said the exact words, it's Dick and Vito. Honestly, I don't blame him for wanting to blame the two, as they've trolled him tons in the past. Why did he have to lie about thinking it was them on Nick Rikita's show? Even more frustrating is what he said about the ISA ministry. Eric made a video calling the International School of Ministry Christians with parentheses. When you go to the Rippaverse website, you can find this article about the Soska sisters, who were hired for their experience in horror film. I'm not sure if horror is spelled with an H or with a W. Regardless, they were made the editors of the Rippaverse.
The Soska sisters, the Soska twins,
Our
who
friends
are
with
my, they're
Hello? Mike Barrett is awesome. Hey guys, can you hear me? I don't know if it's me or JJ. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but El Gallo Sabio, yeah, just send me a Twitter message. Just send me a message in my DMs, and yeah, just send me a message in my DMs. And yeah, I think he did. I think he did drop out again. But yeah, send me a message in the DMs, and then I'll need an email, and then and yeah, I'll send the comic over right away. But yeah, Mike Barron is awesome. But yeah, that's the interesting thing that happens with Eric July. I'm not a fan of his at all. Yeah, it's bad comic business. Not a fan at all. But when JJ gets back, we'll get into it. I think the problems look like they are on JJ. Yeah, I think so too. And that sucks. It's the Elliot Show. Yes. If anyone's curious, I do have my own show on my YouTube channel. It's on YouTube. Look for Elliot Rodriguez Art, and I host the Ominous Morning Show, named after the comic. So check it out. I interview creators. I'm going to have JJ on there also. I want to have JJ. I want to talk about his book. He always signs off his videos with his book, and I want to know more about it. I want to see what's it about, and get to interview him for it. And switch roles, and I think that'll be really cool. So check me out on YouTube, and yeah, I wonder if JJ's going to launch a campaign or something, because I'm a big fan of his. I'm a big fan of his videos. His videos are really concise, straight to the point, and it wraps up and summarizes everything just fine. I like it. I like it a lot. And yeah, if anybody out there, if Cyber or El Gallo, if you have any questions about any comics, then yeah, let me know. Also, there was something that I wanted to say about the Red Valkyrie Underground Art Auction. I'll be joining that on July 13th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. and I'll be auctioning off some art. I wanted to show this before I sign off, these are some of the Ninja Turtle art that I'll have available. I'm going to have this set available so for people to bid on. And so if you're interested in owning these, then please go to the Red Valkyrie Underground Art Auction on July 13th. I'll have these up for you to bid on. And this Raphael. And my YouTube is Elliot Rodriguez Art. You see my name right here, Elliot Rodriguez Art. Elliot Rodriguez Art. And then I took it back old school with the Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird old school designs. That's Donatello, and then here's Michelangelo. And yeah, if you like you get the whole set. And I'll have this. I have some other art also available for you guys to bid on. Yeah, thank you very much, Cyber. When you first write a comic story, do you write it in prose or like a screenplay? This comic that I'm writing is my first comic writing experience, and so I had no idea how to approach it. So I just wrote it as a prose, as a big long outline. Then the editor, when I got the editor, I sent my outline to him, and he said, "No, this is all wrong. What you have to do is organize this, by panels and pages." And I really didn't know how to do that, but he was kind enough to, he's the editor, so he showed me what format he uses, which I liked, and so yeah. Now the comic is in page and panel format, so it's more like a screenplay actually. So that's what I'm writing now, and yeah, what I'm doing is thumbnailing, writing. I don't have my book with me because I'm actually like physically writing the thing out. And making a bunch of notes and thumbnailing the pages. And so, what's up, Edwin? What's going on, man? Thank you for stopping by. This isn't the Ominous Morning Show. This is the JJ Show, but he bounced. Oh, there he is. He's back.
Yeah. I don't know. Mikasa Sukasa, right?
Yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. That was
in charge now. You're the captain. You're like a real alpha male. You just show up on a stream, and the stream becomes yours.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, we're just showing the people some art that I'm going to have available for the art auction that's coming up soon.
I saw you on the. Yeah, I've seen you up on those auctions, man. You've been killing it. So it's super cool to see how there's a lot of people up in CG who are kind of coming out of the woodwork. Like, what do you do for your day job?
I work in a company.
How someone gets really busy. You have other stuff, and then you get to be do art.
Yeah. No, I have a profession. I finished university in 2018, and I've been working in my profession, which is in education. And so yeah, I work in that, and yeah, it's just my 9 to 5. It's my career. It's what I love doing. And then when I'm not doing that, and when I'm not busy with house stuff, because I'm also married and I have my daughter. When I'm not busy with that stuff, then I sit down and draw. And I just draw. Usually I get like about 2 hours a day or so to draw, 2-3 hours a day, and you're kicking off the host like that. It's not intentional, but that's what happens, man. But yeah, then I draw my free time, and then that's why I'm not taking commissions because, like, for example, I'll get like 8 hours in 2 days, and if I draw a commission, then the time I would normally spend on my comic, I have to spend it on the commission, and so I just want
to show the chat something here real quick.
Yeah. Oh, we're going at spoilers. Sweet.
So I thought this was really cool just because it shows a lot, about the type of person you are, that you go out of the way to thank your wife and your daughter. That was just pretty impressive to me, and I can tell you're a really humble guy, and that means a lot.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
People should go. If you have a Twitter account, make sure you go and follow Elliot, and you send him a message, and he'll hook you up with his preview for his comic. It's pretty cool.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I can't do any of this without my wife's support and without my daughter because they have to. Because I mean, they give my life balance and tranquility, and then with that balance and tranquility, I'm able to sit down and draw. Because if things were hectic right now, I'd be tending to that, and so I can't do anything without my wife. So, shout out to my wife. She's probably going to see this later. Draw because if things were hectic. Out to my wife.
Oh, sorry, that was the wrong screen. I was trying to share. Yeah, I said, man, I'm a boomer, so not.
Oh, this is awesome.
I've been acting like one, so this is my first time. I did a bunch of practice streams, and they all came out fine, but for some reason my internet just broke today. So, but I really appreciate you compensating.
Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, I'm no stranger to that because when I host in the morning, I get kicked out of mine and it goes off also, and then it's funny. No worries.
All right, I'm gonna hit play.
They were in films in which tarantulas were sewn inside a woman's genitalia, in which they made out with each other, performed oral on a pregnant lady until she bled like a fountain. Let's take a look at Lucifer Valentine, the director of some of these films. A man whom the Saskas once idolized. Lucifer Valentine had sex with his own sister, who later committed suicide. These two ladies are the ones in charge of every single comic at the Rippaverse, and somehow this ministry is made of fake Christians. Some Rippa fans also claim they've changed.
The Saska sisters have been nothing but awesome to myself, this company, and its fans. I've had those conversations with Jen about reconnecting with God, and those conversations have been amazing. And truly, that's who she answers to, not me or you. You all know how young and dumb I was, so I take exception to people operating as if repentance, forgiveness, and growth aren't a thing.
Yet those previous works are apparently what makes them qualified. And also, this is the logo they used in their recent live-action trailer for the Rippaverse. They were also asking people to support John Waters, the director of the controversial film Pink Flamingos, about a drag queen who is proud to be the filthiest person alive. The film has so many bizarre scenes, like eating dog poop, a scene of simulated bestiality with a chicken, which actually resulted in the real-life death of said chicken, chaining up naked girls and raping them to breed babies,
stuff,
which
Elliot.
can be sold to lesbians. There's so much more. It's
okay.
also insane. And let's not forget, their sacrilegious self-insert comic, which they were promoting in September of last year. Does that seem like repentance to you? What's really getting to me is how the ministry settled with them. They could get associated with all of this crap. Obviously, most of Rippa's fans are conservative, and they weren't too happy about this. He shot back, saying his books weren't meant to be political.
Nothing to do with the Rippaverse. We don't do that political hive mind thing over here. Even I separate my personal political views from the content of the Rippaverse. Find the irony in an ANCAP creating a superhero cop team like Alpha Corps. Everybody knows to leave it all at the door, and should personal views get in the way of business, they won't be here.
Aside from that, your comic universe is called the Rippaverse, named after your YouTube channel, which is extremely political, Imagine if McDonald's said that they weren't associated with the Ronald McDonald House. That would be absurd. I was also curious what Ethan Van Sciver thought about this whole trademark lawsuit. There is a narrative that he stabbed Eric in the back. But if we see his thoughts at this time, we can see how he actually treated Eric.
Paul Gibb goes, does Ethan not know his fans anymore? First Barbie, now defending Vito the pedo? Guys, listen, I don't know what you want from me. I just give you the truth as I see it. You can want anything you want. If you want something other, you're going to be disappointed in me all the time. You're going to say, why isn't Ethan giving us the fun, comforting lies that we come to the internet for? You can go elsewhere for those. I'm going to be fair. I'm going to give you I could be wrong, but I'm going to give you the truth as I see it. Okay. And that's just the way it is. I don't care who it's about. Yeah. My advice for Eric July, and he's not going to take it, but my advice for him is, you got to settle the case quickly and quietly. And you may have to change the name of your comic book. But it's not the worst thing in the world, just do it as cheaply as you can.
Some may have felt that Ethan was being disloyal to Eric because he didn't greenlight litigation with the ministry and counseled him to settle out of court. In the end, that's what Eric ended up doing. Others may have felt that Ethan was also being disloyal for not throwing Vito under the bus. But a few months later, Eric would distance himself from the idea that Dick and Vito were the ones who orchestrated the lawsuit. What do you think about all of this? Do you think the ministry should have settled? And do you think these controversies will affect them? Next time, Isom's art is called into question. Eric is hit with a series of heavy accusations.
Man, you do some great videos, man.
I just wanted to see what you thought of all that, stuff with the Soskas and, kind of the irony of Eric insinuating the ministry was fake Christians.
No, I mean, it's apparent that they're not Christians. Even the cafeteria Christians that don't actually, that they say they are, but don't actually practice it. You can tell that they're not that. Not even that. So, yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that I don't like about him is that he's constantly lying, and he doesn't. When he's confronted with the lies, all he does is double down, and he doesn't even accept that he's lied. I think he would save himself so much trouble if he just came out and said, yes, they're not Christian, or yes, I use 3D assets, or yes, I'm just trying to make an animated movie or something. But just be upfront about it, at least not try to lie to us, because that's also something that's evident about him is that he's not about the comics. He's not about the comics, because any self-respecting creator would not sell you a comic and then inside that comic have nothing but 3D assets. I think that's a big slap in the face to the customer. I think that's super disrespectful. And to ask for using 3D assets and then to ask for $35, knowing that people normally charge $25, that's just an atrocity in my opinion. So, yeah, just the way that he's been handling himself is just not something that I agree with. And I'm glad I didn't back his book. If anybody's curious, you can read his book for free online. And there's a page where you can read his book for free. I read it, and it's, oh, man, you can tell he's not a writer. And so he's not about comics. No, he's not. That's my opinion. There's nothing that Eric July could say to change my opinion, because that's what I see. That's the opinion I formed based on what I've seen him do. So, it's not. You're not going to try to distort reality just to say that, oh, no, I am a comic creator. I've been around for... No, come on, man. No way, man. Nobody who likes comics would put out a book like Isom and then call it great. No, but props to him, because he suckered a bunch of people into paying $35 for it. So, that's kudos to him. I don't know if I'm ranting. Can anybody hear me? I don't know. Yes. Let's take a look at some more art. We can thank you very much. Take a look at some more art I'm gonna have available for the art auction. If you have any particular comments or questions that you'd like to hear about Eric July. I mean, it's funny how he pays tribute to his name, July, man. July. He lies a lot and doubles down. I'm also going to have this at the auction. Wow, look at that. I don't know if you can see that. That's Ant-Man with a bunch of ants. And what's Ant-Man without the Wasp? I'm going to have these pieces up at the auction also, in case anybody's curious. And yes. And I'll throw in a complimentary print. I don't know if you guys know who this is. This is Wraith from Wraith of God. I think I'll throw that in there also. You can get that and some art. Got some prints. Got some really good stuff, man. But yeah. You just should have made a comic book company, not a shipping company. Comic book companies, editors, writers, and artists. He's missing editors, and yeah, man, it's just a disaster. You can, and it's 100% true what EVS said about Avery Silverman's speech pattern. It's like hearing Eric July. If you watch any of your streams, then he sounds just like him. So that's something that you don't want to do as a creator. You don't want people to read. Like if I'm creating Zadok, I don't want Zadok to talk like me. No, I want him to talk like Zadok. No, so he's got different words, different speech patterns, and so yeah, you could just tell. No, and I hate the vagueness, man. The vagueness. He can't say anybody's name. Like everybody knows we're talking about EVS, but he's like that guy or the guy who said what he said. He thought he said it is business. I don't know what it, but it's funny. Yeah, thanks very much, man. Yeah, I try my best. This is the Wasp and Ant-Man. And I don't have the original for this anymore. I sold it at an auction, and I had that print. And yeah, I'll send out the print. And I have a bigger piece. Hey. I gotta pull out my art. If anybody's familiar with Shelby Robertson, the creator of Ragetality, I'm gonna have this piece up for sale also. And this comes with a color print. Hello, JJ.
Oh yeah, keep showing your art, man. That look
Yeah.
some good stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna have this up at the art auction, showing off people. But yeah, I don't know what you heard from my rant, but yeah, I'm not a fan of Eric July at all. You know, you can get his book for free online. I'll have this available at the art auction.
Yeah. Just don't tell people where. He might send you a DMCA. He did that to Frog Tony. So.
Never mind.
So since I'm having a lot of issues with the stream, I think it's probably best if we cut off. But I just wanted to say, Elliot, you're the man. You know, thanks for being a good co-pilot. You did a good job. Thanks for stepping up to the plate. And then sorry everybody for all the issues I've been having. I don't know what happened. I think it's because there's a lot of rain where I'm at.
Yep.
And so I think it's just messing up my internet. But anyway, next time it'll be fine. So appreciate you all. And I'm going to end the stream in a bit. I'm just going to kind of play something, to cut out.
Yep.
Before we head off.
What's up, BA? Yeah. Thank you very much, JJ, for hosting me. It was great. And yeah, man, I'm honored to be part of the first stream. Yeah. All right. And then I'm going to host you also on my show, and I hope everybody tunes in for that. Hail everybody in the chat. You guys are great.
Yeah, I can't wait to go on. So anyway, thank you so much, man. And sorry guys for all the issues that I've had. I'm gonna show you all a really cool video I made today. Okay.
We will make America strong again.
Trump and the extreme MAGA Republicans pose a clear and present danger to our democracy.
We will make America proud again.
A persistent threat of domestic extremism, domestic terrorism carried out in the ideology and around this belief that the election was fraudulent, that the COVID restrictions are unnecessary. All of those ideologies pushed by Donald Trump. But my question for you is around incitement. We had a policy, and it was very controversial. It was carried out under the Bush years and under the Obama years of attacking terrorism at its root, of going after and killing. And in the case of Amr al-Awlaki, an American, a Yemeni American, with a drone strike for the crime of inciting violence, inciting terrorism.
We will make America safe again.
If Donald Trump is elected, we're only going to have a more dark, dangerous, and chaotic vision for where he wants to take the country.
And we will make America great again.
On a steel horse I ride, I want it.
Well, former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence has been raided by federal agents.
And I am the only one that can save this nation because you know they're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I will never be moving.
To me, of the two prominent, like, let's say, black civil